Welcome back to Outside Views. Just one short year ago, the Labour Party under Keir Starmer soared into power on a wave of optimism, promising to restore stability after the turbulent years of Tory rule. Fast forward 12 months and Starmer finds himself tumbling dramatically from hero to, let's say near zero, witnessing a political crash so spectacular it deserves its own Netflix special. But how did Labour go from a triumphant electoral tsunami to barely treading water in record time? But water? Let's dive in. Initially, it seemed Starmer had a clear mandate: repair the battered British economy, restore credibility to the UK government, and steer the country away from the reckless chaos of previous administrations. Yet, in a baffling display of political mismanagement, Labour's leadership has systematically squandered their commanding parliamentary majority of 156 seats, achieving what many analysts thought was impossible, making the Tory circus of recent years look almost competent by comparison. At the heart of this stunning collapse is Starmer's ambitious yet deeply flawed attempt to slash social and disability benefits. And together with his finance minister, Chancellor of the Exchequer Rachel Reeves, Starmer aimed to save an eye-watering £6 billion, claiming these cuts were unavoidable due to Britain's perilous financial situation. But Labour's own MPs, unimpressed and frankly outraged, staged a rebellion so massive it made Spartacus look like a minor disagreement. More than 120 Labour MPs revolted, forcing Starmer into a humiliating U-turn and effectively gutting the legislation. Starmer's once towering majority now appears as fragile as antique porcelain, leaving his authority shattered and his credibility seriously damaged. And Labour's troubles don't stop there. In fact, Starmer's first year in office reads like a cautionary tale of how not to govern. Internal divisions erupted early, highlighted by the abrupt resignation of his Chief of Staff, Sue Gray, after only a few months. And replacing her with Morgan McSweeney, his former election strategist, Starmer inexplicably pivoted back to campaign mode, abandoning his original pledge to govern through meticulous attention to detail. And this sudden shift left observers scratching their heads and many supporters, kinda disillusioned. What followed was a series of knee-jerk reactions driven by anxiety over slipping poll numbers and constant attacks from right-wing tabloids. Rather than steadfastly implementing thoughtful policy, Starmer began echoing populist rhetoric, notably parroting Nigel Farage's talking points on immigration. In a now infamous speech in May, Starmer ominously warned of Britain becoming an island of strangers, a phrase eerily reminiscent of the inflammatory rhetoric of Enoch Powell. And the backlash was swift and fierce, forcing Starmer into an awkward public apology, claiming he was distracted by international events and hadn't reviewed the speech adequately. This admission of error, though commendably rare in modern politics, only reinforced perceptions of Starmer as indecisive and weak. Adding to his woes, Starmer has struggled to articulate a coherent political vision. His, vague promises of economic revival lack substance, and his refusal to consider meaningful re-engagement with the EU, even as a majority of Britons now openly regret Brexit, exemplifies a timid approach born of fear rather than leadership. And instead of setting the narrative, Starmer has allowed himself to be dictated to by the very right-wing media outlets determined to undermine him, alienating his base without winning over skeptical voters. The tragic irony is that some genuinely progressive initiatives under Starmer, such as significant investments in Britain's critically underfunded National Health Service, have gone unnoticed, buried beneath his more visible missteps. His technocratic style, devoid of the charisma or vision necessary to inspire, has only deepened voter disillusionment, pushing many toward the far-right Reform UK party currently surging ahead in polls. And indeed, Nigel Farage now finds himself remarkably positioned as a plausible future occupant of number 10 Downing Street. How did it come to this? Simply put, Starmer's cautious, defensive governing style is incompatible with the demands of a polarized electorate craving clarity and strength. His inability or unwillingness to craft and communicate a compelling vision for Britain's future leaves voters adrift, susceptible to extremist appeals. His political miscalculations serve as a stark warning. Centrism without conviction can easily become indistinguishable from incompetence. And the only saving grace for Starmer is time. With the next general election not due until 2029, Labour still has a chance to recover, but the path back is treacherous. Starmer must urgently redefine his leadership, communicate a clear vision, and resist reactionary impulses driven by media panic. Britain's future hangs precariously in the balance. Will Starmer rise from dramatic crash to finally steer Labour and the nation forward, or will he become a cautionary footnote in political history? Stay tuned, because this political drama is far from over, and if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen.